Hello, Year 4. This is a flipped classroom for your maths lessons for next week. So next week we're looking at data handling, and we're going to be looking at graphs in particular. You should already know about bar charts and pictograms. So this video is just going to show you something new that you may not have seen before, and this is called a line graph. So on this video, I'm just going to show you a line graph and just talk to you about the main features of a line graph and how it will look. So I'm going to share the screen, and here we go. So on a line graphs are used to measure a value over time. It's very important to remember that it is over time, because if you're doing a science experiment where you're measuring something for every 5 minutes, you have to use a line graph. A bar chart or a pictogram won't actually show you that information correctly. So we always use a line graph to show how something has progressed or declined over a period of time. The first thing you need to do when you have a line graph is obviously create your axes. Your axes are the lines that go across the graph. We have this one, which is called the y-axis, and this one we call the x-axis. All right, and then we can how do I add text? Wait, let me. And then what we do, we can add our. So we can label this as x. We can label this one as y. And at the bottom, we have to label our axes as well. So time is always going to go at the bottom. Now it could be, it could be that it's, excuse the handwriting, I'm using that graphic pad, which sometimes doesn't work particularly well. So we've got time here, and down here we've got our frequency, okay? And I'm only gonna frequency. Now where the axes cross here, we can put a 0, because that tells us that the frequency is 0 and the time is 0. And let's say we put a 1 there, 2, 3, 4. Now with the line graph, it's important to notice that I'm actually writing the numbers on the line of the graph paper, not actually in the square. So 6, 7, 8. Okay, and this time is in minutes. So in brackets, I write under time minutes. And then we put that in brackets. Our frequency here, we could say, is our heart rate. So let's say we've just done some exercise and we're seeing how our heart rate is affected over time after we've done a certain amount of exercise. So up here, we could have 120, and then we could have 110. Then we could have 100. Then we could have 90. And again, notice how the numbers are on the line, not in the square. It'll be the only time you're asked in maths to write numbers on the line. Okay, so that would all go all the way down, obviously, to 0. And then what you do, you may do a bit of exercise, and then you measure your heart rate. And you're measuring, after 1 minute, you have measured 120 beats per minute. So you then put in just a little dot to begin with, okay? Just put it there like that. You wait 2 minutes, and then you check your pulse again, let's say, and we now go to 110. At 3 minutes, it goes to 100. At 4 minutes, it may be at about 95. And then at 5 minutes, it goes to 90. And then at 6 minutes, we could say it drops down to about 70. And then 7, it stayed at 70. And then at 8, it stayed at 70. So you draw your dots first. And then what you do with your pen, you then draw, or pencil, sorry, you join the dots up in a line like that. And that's basically your line graph. You can then give your line graph a title. Oh, look, I could do it. There we go, that would have been a lot easier. Heart rate after exercise. Okay, and so I know that this graph is about what your heart rate will be like after you've done some exercise. And you can see it as I've constructed it. You can see that after I've done some exercise, my heart rate is starting to go down. So it's very visual how we can see what's going on here. But also you can then ask questions, and you can maybe have questions that say, you could have questions along the lines of, at 6 minutes, what was the heart rate? So you go up to 6, and where you hit the line, you then draw a horizontal line over there. And we can say that at 6 minutes, the heart rate was 70. You may get a question that says, how long, or what was the time when the heart rate was 95 or 85 beats per minute? So we go to 85, which is between 80 and 90. And as soon as we hit that line, we then come down. And we could say it was just after 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes and 10 seconds was when the heart rate was 85 beats per minute. So that's basically a line graph. And that's what you're going to be looking at this week. So just remember certain things. You need to make sure that time always goes at the bottom. Time could be measured in minutes. It could be measured in seconds, month, weeks, days. So that always goes at the bottom. And the frequency, the amount that you've recorded, goes up on the y-axis, which is this one here. You then label each of the axes, you plot the graph, and then join them up. Okay, right. So if you want to have a look at that next week, please do in time for your lessons next week. I'll see you later. Bye.